Hey, welcome back to Hey Alexa. I'm Michelle. This is a channel all about money, mental health, and how the two can be beautifully intertwined if we use them correctly. And one of the things we love to say around here is that the first step to your dream life is financial literacy. Today, we're actually going to talk about a little bit of both, specifically strategy around traveling for the holidays to keep you from having to be stressed and to keep it easy breezy and fun. I know everybody wanted to say beautiful in that moment. Just a little backstory for a second. So when Ryan and I were very early dating, I had a family emergency. My stepbrother passed away from ALS, and it happened really quickly. So he, being Ryan, drove me home. And after this initial trip, we started to realize that our travel styles were completely different. And what I mean by that is that I tended to have this idea that spontaneity and surprising people was the best option because it made it easy for me to have an open hand with my plans. Essentially, I never made a plan. And Ryan, on the other hand, is very used to having a very detailed and structured plan. And it was something that was like a point of contingency when we first started traveling together. And as we were part of this life together with each other, like traveling or having visitors or going out of town at all, started to become this point of stress. And we put together a few different things that we think will be helpful for you guys to think through as you're traveling this holiday season. I feel like this should have been an earlier video, but honestly, it came out of it was birthed out of real life and what happened this week, specifically last night. We're going to Mississippi, which is where I am from. And as you guys know, we've been in and out of town to St. Louis. So now we're headed down south to see my family for Christmas. And we're super excited. So here are a few things we think are super practical that you can do to make your trip, your upcoming trip, your next few trips so much less stressful. So we're going to start with making a plan. In this plan, you can make it loose at first. So a loose plan, speaking to dates. What dates are you traveling? These are the things that you as a couple or as the person traveling needs to know first. What dates are you going to be out of town so that you can start to formulate the bigger picture plan and the finer details. So as you make a plan, here are some things that you want to consider. I do have my phone here because I just don't want to ramble, and quite frankly, I'm a rambler, guys. Okay, so the overview plan is going to be your larger picture. Think, who are we going to see? Who are we staying with? How long are we going to be there? Are we going to be having meals together? Do I need to bring any food and contribute in any way? Is it a holiday that involves gifts? Do I have all of the gifts that I need? Is there a host present potentially that I need? Do I also have all of the dates planned out on who I'm going to be seeing? What are we going to be doing while we're there? Do I need to pack only comfy clothes or do I need to pack nice formal clothes? Another thing to consider, what's the weather going to be like? We've traveled all over Europe and most of the states at this point, and the thing is that even when you think that you don't need a jacket, you probably should pack a jacket. We were at my best friend's wedding in March, and in March, you typically don't think of Mississippi having like inches of snow, but there were inches of snow and I brought nothing warm to wear, so I had to go out and buy a whole new wardrobe. I recently went to Louisville to be with another very close friend of mine who has become family and some hardship, and I realized I brought nothing with me. Went to Louisville, brought nothing, literally nothing. Thought I was going to be doing a day trip, and I actually wound up staying almost an entire week. So even just having my Thanksgiving bag packed would have helped in some capacity because I would have had something to wear, and that involved me leaving medicine and everything else. So just think through what you need on your daily basis. If you have medicine, if you need glasses, contacts, I have special toothpaste I have to use. So just making a list, literally checking it twice, and making sure you have everything you need. This alone will save you so much money. Or the next thing that I would recommend is to clean the house leading up to leaving. At least spend a few minutes every day tidying, and a few days prior to your travels, make sure that you're getting all of your laundry done. We ran into difficulty over Thanksgiving where I had done quite a bit of laundry, but I didn't get it all put away. I didn't get it all finished, and Ryan had to pack me. And while he did a wonderful job, there were things that I would have preferred over what he brought. And that doesn't mean that he did a bad job. I just, in talking with him over everything, there were clothes in laundry baskets that were clean that weren't put away. And he knew where to kind of go, but didn't know exactly where to go to get all of the things that I wanted. So having a list, knowing what you want to pack, and having all of your clothes put away will make that so much simpler. It's something that we literally spend time doing. The next thing I would suggest here is for us having the house clean, where we don't have a ton of dishes left. We don't have like the dog stuff everywhere. The bedding is changed. We don't have to worry about that when we get home. That is just so life-giving on the front end of a trip, but also on the back end. You come home, the house is clean and beautiful, and you don't have to worry about a thing. I actually learned that from my host mom in Germany, and we literally spent a day cleaning every time before we went out of town, and I didn't understand until I walked in the house, and it was just so light and airy and just felt so clean and wonderful. So I 100% believe in cleaning before you leave and making sure laundry is done and put away. It will just cut so much time out of everything. And then when there's that one shirt that you know you want to wear, typically that's my Foo Fighter shirt, you have it and you're able just to grab it, put it in your bag, and go. Another thing that I would highly consider is making sure that your transportation is ready to go. For us, we're on a pretty tight budget these days, and we like to make sure that we have space in our budget every month to put our car in the shop when necessary. I will link a video that kind of details how we do that. It's an automatic savings that we do, and we still do even though I'm not working. This allows us to put the car in the shop like come Monday, and we will have the car back hopefully by Friday to be able to head out on the road, and it just ensures our safety. There's nothing quite as like terrifying as having an older car, not the oldest, but an older car that could have something going wrong, especially when we've had a little bit of trouble out of each of our cars over the years. This ensures safety, peace of mind as we're traveling, and it keeps us both from being super stressed out, and it also saves us money from having to rent a car or buy plane tickets. Now, don't mishear me. There will probably be a season where we either rent a car or we'll start flying at some point, but currently it's just not in our budget, and it's just something to consider. So make sure to have your means of transportation ready to go, whether that is flying, renting a car, having your car in the shop, whatever you need to do. This would be the time to plan that in, and that leads me to my next thought, which is putting it all on a calendar. So one of the things that we calendar is putting our car in the shop prior to going out of town. We typically like to do this about a week before we go out of town, and that just helps us know when we need to have it, and it helps me know like, okay, Ryan's going to be busy these days and I'm going to be busy these days. We have to share one car. How are we going to manage? The next thing that we like to do to calendar, and this is one of Ryan's things, I tend to find this a little bit more stressful than Ryan does on the front end, but on the on go time, the execution, it really is helpful, even though it stresses me out still. So we're working on that, but calendaring in general is so helpful. So as we have our dates in place, we already have the dogs booked, which is important. So we have all of a sudden time to start making an effort to make phone calls and plan out who we're going to see, when we're going to see them, what time we're going to see them, what days, what we need to be wearing with those people. When we go, if there's like something special we're doing, or we're going to be outside, or we need, however that looks. It also allows us to know when we need to get on the road to go to the next thing. So my family, although in the same region, they are a little bit spread out. My mom is an hour and a half from my dad, north, like kind of northwest. And my brother is about an hour and a half south of my dad's. And my dad, I would say, is about our central location. That's where we'll spend the majority of our time, like sleeping, But in between, we need to make sure that we know we have to give ourselves about 2 hours before we go anywhere else. Having a plan in place helps us know, hey, it gives us the autonomy to be able to tell our family and our friends and whomever else we're going to be seeing exactly how much time and space we have to be with them and to give our full attention. Then the next morning, the next day, that evening, we're able to say, okay, you guys, we love you and we have to go. It just makes everyone understand the quality and the time frame that we have so we can have quality visit with everyone, which is so nice. Shout out to my oldest brother, because I think between him and my husband, learning that the spontaneous showing up was why I was never able to spend time with him. Finally, the last thing that I really want to give as a takeaway is how a plan and putting a plan in place can really help your traveling and mitigate your stress. And it also can inform your budget. So a few things here. The plan is going to help you just know exactly where you need to be when, as we spoke, but it's also going to help you know when you need to get on the road, when your bags need to packed, and it gives you these small, microscopic, little deadlines that help you to stay on track. We always like to build in at least an hour into our travel times because we don't like to be rushed. Specifically, I do not like to be rushed. And we also like to stop and take breaks and get out of the car, because just being in a car for upwards of 7 to 9 hours is kind of painstaking. Shout out to my dad, who can do it no problem. Truck driver life, He used to be a truck driver in my youth, and he's great at getting in a car and just going. Not us. It also helps us inform what snacks, what things we need to pack, because while we're on the road, we tend to not want to spend money on things that we don't have to. So, for instance, we know we're going to stop and get gas. We'll go to the bathroom. We honestly typically don't purchase food out and about. We will have food in our cooler so that we have already spent that money. We've already gone to the grocery. We've already gotten anything that we might need for the holiday itself and for our events with our family. But we don't have to spend extra money out and about on food, because I know for us, we can easily spend, $30 even at a fast food restaurant. And that adds up when you're out of town for a week, 2 weeks, or when you're taking very frequent trips. I hope that this is helpful to you. I hope that this made sense. And I hope that you can use some of this information to make a plan for yourself and for you guys to be able to travel without any anxiety this year. For me, having a plan just gets me out of the rut of anxiety of all the things I have to do, and gives me a mental checklist of all the things that need to get done so that I can enjoy the people I love. And that in and of itself is wonderful. It helps me to give people an expectation, and it sets expectations so that the expectation and reality can be true, and it keeps any feelings from getting hurt. So, including mine. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know in the comments what you do to help your anxiety during this holiday season, especially if you're a traveler. We would love to hear from you. I would love to hear from you. And I hope that this holiday season is bright, filled with love and family and friends. And sometimes friends can be your family, if you didn't know. That's just a reminder that not all family is blood. I love you guys. I love this community, and I'm so thankful for you. I will see you in the next one. But before we sign out, don't forget to budget wisely, compromise kindly, and be authentically you.